How to use that shit, bro.
All right, so we're back. Yeah, pretty eventful couple weeks.
Yeah, not as news impact filled as some of the shows we've done, but I mean, yeah, we got some good stuff.
Well, if you guys just joining us, just remember like and subscribe. I am Hesco, and this is James.
Yep.
Welcome to the ateasecast, and yeah, we're gonna cover a couple of the local news and stuff, and then we'll get into some of the big picture stuff that's happening overseas and how, you know,
some of the stuff that's happening here in the States and what the government's doing and about to do to you.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Oh God, I mean, they're really taking us out to.
It gets more and more dystopian every time we do this.
Yeah,
it's getting ridiculous.
It's like
it's been ridiculous, but
I mean, I don't understand, man. It's just like that video I shared a couple podcasts ago. You know, that Russian defector. You know.
Yeah.
In spite of all evidence to the contrary, this administration continues to push the people. I mean, they're effing with us, man. I mean, there's no.
Well, they got nothing better to do, so I mean.
I mean, there's nothing. There's no two ways. A game. There's no two ways about it. I mean, they're messing with us, man. Like, it's on purpose.
Yeah, there's something behind it, but I can't put my finger on it yet. There's a reason why they're doing what they're doing. They wouldn't do it without a specific purpose in mind.
Yeah, I mean, so I've talked to you a couple times in the past, like how the old corruption used to be. You know. Yeah. Like, a government would come in, they would do their under the table stuff, they would enrich their friends and their buddies and and whatnot, and you kind of knew about it, and a lot of times you kind of suspected it, but they also left such a good trail of things. Yeah. That to cover up the mess. You really didn't pay that much attention. So in Puerto Rico, a big thing was, like, usually when the governor would be done with his terms, he would just go to Spain.
Right. Yeah, to escape prosecution.
He would just get in a plane to go to Spain. The next guy wouldn't prosecute anything because he's doing the same thing the last guy did. Right. But the last guy left you with, like, a new and improved highway system.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, the other guy left you with a badass socioeconomic status, you know, where businesses are thriving, improved school system,
hospitals, something like that.
I mean, he stole money, hand over fist, but it got to a point where people didn't really care because the ends justified the means. Yeah. And you're like, okay, yeah, he did steal from this and that and the third, but, you know, our kids are going to these nice schools, or, you know, people that are working are working in good environments, or, you know, the streets are good, the bridges are good, or, hey, we have a metro station, or whatever, you know.
Right.
But here is just kind of like in your face corruption, and
with nothing on the back end.
Nothing on the back end other than just misery. Mm-hmm. So the administration rolled out this thing, taking credit for the prices of the holiday shopping for Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to you guys. I hope you guys, as this episode's being filmed after Thanksgiving, so you guys, we're all fat and happy now, you know, kind of freaking enjoying the leftover fiasco. But some of us spend time with our family, some of us spend time at work, you know, and even though I worked through Thanksgiving, I still had a pretty good Thanksgiving. My place where I work, you know, they came all out and they really shelled it out for us, you know, and made it worth our while. But the whole shtick behind this administration was like, that prices for Thanksgiving fixings, like basically all the basic things that you would need to buy to build your Thanksgiving dinner, was cheaper than it has ever been. That's what he said, right? I mean, not that it has ever been, but cheaper than it has been,
like in the last couple of years
in a while. Well, he's trying to take credit for that, but the reality was that the numbers was like this past Thanksgiving, the average cost was about $60-something for all of the fixings that you need to build a Thanksgiving dinner, which is about 4.1 or 4.2% lower than it has ever been during Biden's tenure. However, that's still about a 31 or 32%
increase,
more expensive than it was before he took over office. So,
but that's how
people,
media and the administration fudge the numbers and make the evidence validate their point.
Right. So they're like, well, Thanksgiving is cheaper.
Gas prices are down. Well, they're up.
Yeah. I mean, they're up.
They're under Trump's administration. The gas prices actually went down below $2 a gallon, which hasn't been seen since like 2005 or something. I haven't,
or less, man.
Yeah.
Because I had prices. There was a point here where gas was like $1.40, $1.47.
I think the lowest one was like $1.30.
So,
I could be wrong.
But. I mean, I don't quote me on the actual price, but those are similar to the prices that I used to pay for gas when I was 16.
Right.
That was in '96. So that's significant. But the biggest thing is that as Biden pivots. And the administration pivots to lower gas prices so people aren't affected. So the thing is that you have one thing that he has to maintain status quo. He has to maintain people can still have to be able to do what they did last year.
Right.
So by lowering the gas prices and everything, he still maintains airplane ticket prices don't rise. Mm-hmm. The cost of fuel is lower, so people can still travel, whether it be by train or whatever, car, whatever method of travel you take. However, what people don't know is that the way he does this is by dipping into our strategic national reserves. So the strategic reserve of petroleum that we have it's a finite supply, but it's for national emergencies. Right. It's for World War III. For all intents and purposes. Now, of course, everybody that knows anything about petroleum, there is an expiration date on some of this stuff, so it just can't sit there forever. So it must be rotated and refilled, and whatever. It must be processed. Must be rotated.
And I remember that being a news thing when Trump was in office. He took the national reserves and refilled them completely.
Well, he refilled them because Obama left them empty.
Yep.
The Obama administration damn near emptied the strategic reserve, left them empty. When Trump took over, he had to refill the strategic reserve. Well, he opened fracking, and we started exporting oil. We became pretty self-sustaining for a lot of things. I wouldn't say for all, but not all energy. But there was a good chunk of things that we were providing ourselves. I mean, hell, we were selling rice to the Chinese.
Right.
Among other things. I mean, we can go into the weeds on that all day. But the thing is, this podcast, the main focus is to get you guys to not just look at the headline, look beyond it, and do your research in it. And because there's things behind it. It's not all what it seems.
And we're going to get into some of that stuff on
it's
today's
not all.
show.
It's not what it seems. So what's the big thing on the agenda?
We got some local stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just interesting news bites and silly stuff. Yeah. So first I got is this guy named Ronald Lewis, a 77-year-old attorney, who was caught bringing ecstasy-laced paperwork into one of his clients who was at Harris County Jail down in Houston. So he was bringing in legal paperwork, which, under the law, when you bring it into jail, it is protected. It is protected. Jailers can't look at it like it's private between the lawyer and the
it's a client.
It's attorney-client privilege.
Attorney-client privilege.
So it's privileged information that's only supposed to be between them. But this guy was bringing in laced documents that were laced with ecstasy or laced with some kind of marijuana derivative. bringing him in and giving him to the client. Well, he got caught. He got caught, and now he's in jail. And I think he got a $15,000 bond. I can't imagine he's still in jail. He got booked in though, but bringing a illegal substance into a facility,
felony.
Yeah, it's a pretty serious felony charge. Yeah,
it's a felony. That's bonkers.
Yeah.
I wonder how he was. Did they explain how he was doing it?
No,
like,
they didn't explain how he got caught or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, my mind can work on it, and probably he was snitched on. Or something like that. Somebody snitched on somebody and got that information out there, and then they started investigating, took probably a sample of that paperwork and tested positive. Yeah. That's just me imagining. That's not facts.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So that happened. I thought that was funny.
That's the balls, bro.
Dude, like, how much is this client paying you as a lawyer, as a bar registered lawyer in Texas? What is this client doing for you to make you accept that kind of risk?
Yeah, but I mean, it's
because there goes your
entire practice.
Is done.
So all them years of. I mean, maybe he's got a good nest egg that he can.
He's 77.
He's 77.
I mean, but he's 77 years old, still representing, criminals.
Another thing is that he
should have retired like 10 years ago.
Well, not if the going is good. So right. He's probably been
or if he's terrible with his money and needs it.
Well, he's probably been doing that kind of stuff for a long time now with other inmates.
More than likely.
So. My thing, because that's not an easy thing to pull off, anyways.
Right.
So
if he's pulled it off before,
he's had to pulled it off before. Yeah. So, who knows? But I mean, we've all seen our fair share of people at jail, freaking just throwing their entire freaking lives away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, we had that case of that lady jailer that went with the guy that was looking at life in prison.
Oh, the escaped one?
Yeah.
I don't remember what state that was in.
I forget what state that was in. I think it was, I want to say it was Florida, but I don't remember.
Maybe it may be Arkansas or Alabama. I don't remember.
One of them. And she was like days away from retirement.
Yeah, she was a jail administrator.
And then retired. And then, she had her little retirement party and whatever and all this other stuff. And took this dude to court,
right, and drove off with him.
And they're both. I mean, she's dead.
I think they're both dead now, aren't they?
I thought so, but I mean, I'd have to research the news. But I mean, you see people that
I don't remember their names, so I'm not gonna look it up. So
yeah, you got people that throw away their entire lives.
You hear about prison administrators or prison guards that commit crime. That's the thing. If people don't understand that about incarcerated people cannot give consent for any kind of sexual activity. They cannot. So anytime you engage in sexual contact with an incarcerated person, it is rape. Yeah. They cannot give consent. It's one of the freedoms that it's taken away from you when you go to prison. So you got these prison guards that are having sex with inmates. Whatever male prison guard or a female prison guard, it happens on both sides, and it happens quite regularly in every state. So I mean, they cannot give consent.
Yeah, it's Vicky White.
That's who it was, Vicky White.
Vicky White. And the guy she left with was Casey White, no relation.
Right.
I mean.
Well, no known relation.
Yeah.
What state was it?
I'm looking at the Alabama.
Yeah, no known relation.
Yeah, no known relation, but they had the same last name. Yeah. This other dude, pretty violent offender too.
Yeah. I mean, pretty violent offender. He was not a good person.
Yeah, the memes that came out of that were brutal too. Good God.
Yeah.
I mean, but you get people like that throw their entire careers away doing nefarious stuff like that, and it happens all the time.
Over a whim decision. Yeah.
I think. I mean, hell, just the embarrassment.
Right.
Just the embarrassment. I mean, here we are talking about this stuff, and we're not even in Alabama. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Well, it was national news for as long as that chase happened.
Yeah, it's
it's embarrassing. We've had it happen. I mean, it happens in the Texas Department of Corrections, and it happens everywhere.
Yeah.
There's something there, some psychological nonsense, and it's well known that the jailers and inmates sometimes collaborate. So
sometimes the jailers, the people that got those jobs, are as bad or worse as some of the people that they guard. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes they slip through the cracks of a background check.
Yeah, I mean,
but their known associations aren't really known.
Yeah,
but that happens. I mean, it's not a perfect system. If it were, there would be no crime. So
true. What else is going on?
So there was a DOD official. This guy's name is Stephen. I'm probably going to mess up the last name. Hovenick.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Hovenick, who works for the Department of Defense Education Activity. That is a shop in the DOD that pretty much runs any of the on-base schools for the kids. Like every major military base has their own schools. They're usually a part of either they have their own ISD or they're a part of the civilian ISD that's just outside the base. So independent school districts. But this is the place that makes the rules of the schools and what the school's going to go over the lesson plans and stuff like that. So that's where he works, and they're headquartered in Alexandria, Virginia. But this guy, he got arrested, and all the headlines say pretty much the same thing. This is from Stars and Stripes. Top DODEA administrator nabbed in human trafficking sting. Military.com. DODEA, America's chief of staff, arrested in human trafficking sting operation in Georgia. Fox 5 Atlanta. Pentagon official from Georgia arrested in undercover human trafficking sting. It goes on. It's always human trafficking. Now, anybody that reads that and doesn't really look into it, it's going to be like, this guy was, transporting people across state lines or, in some kind of actual human trafficking thing where they were transporting people, delivering them somewhere. That's not what happened. So you just read into it. So law enforcement agencies do stings all the time for whatever. They do multiple types of stings. This one in particular was a prostitution sting. And they label it human trafficking so they can get federal funding. It works. And they charge people with either solicitation of prostitution or with human trafficking charges and try to get them to go federal. It is a common practice in law enforcement. But that's what's going on. This guy tried to pick up a prostitute, pay her for services. That prostitute was a law enforcement officer, and she was being protected by other law enforcement officers. And it was a set-up thing where he contacted her, agreed to pay her, showed up with money, intent to do whatever services they wanted to do, and got nabbed. So now, because that was a human trafficking sting, but there are plenty of prostitutes all around the country that are being trafficked by whoever to wherever.
Yeah, that's the whole shtick behind it. I've dealt with that. Yeah. I had a case with dealing with that personally, so it's just kind of.
I believe the young lady was from Chicago or something.
Yeah, from Chicago. She'd been trafficked, but that was a wild case. And then we had me and the Asian Cuban had that other one from Brazil. Yeah.
You'd bring him on sometime.
Yeah, had that other one from the Blasian.
Yeah.
So
was she from Brazil? I remember that
Brazil.
one too. I remember that case too.
So yeah, we've had several. So people get forced onto prostitution, and that's why that charge is there. That's why that's like that. It's to deter. And another thing is, it's a huge deterrent, because you don't just get arrested. You get arrested, booked, and then published.
So now his face, you look up his name or look up something about DOD in the news, and this will come up. So
yeah, you get arrested and published in the news.
Yeah. Very next one on here: 2-day human trafficking operation in Coweta County, wherever the hell that is, led to the arrest of 26 people, and the faces of all 26 people are. Oh, that's the operation that he was arrested by. So that operation didn't just arrest this DOD official; it arrested 25 other people. So, and it. Yeah, it lists their charges, lists their names, and it posts their mugshot when they got booked in.
Yeah, it ain't worth it, man.
No.
It ain't worth it, man.
No.
Ain't worth it.
Go pick up somebody at the bar when it closes.
That dude's probably married too, and I mean,
more than likely.
That's.
I can't find anything about him personally. Just that he was arrested on this sting.
Oh man, they tar and feather you.
Mm-hmm.
You get caught doing some nasty stuff like that, you getting tarred and feathered, man.
Now, there are charges that I completely agree should be like that, and they usually involve assault on children, sexual assault on children, or rapists, something like that. They should be blasted out there. Like, watch out for this person. This is somebody you need to be careful with your kids around them.
This one is just kind of like, I mean, you know what my thoughts about it are. You know, it just is what it is. But I mean, you know what they say. You know, if you get mud on you, you're too close to the dirt. You know, so you probably shouldn't have been. You know, traveling in those circles anyways. You know, it's just kind of like the darkness got a hold of my man over there and just gotta get that rub and tug. Gotta get it, you know. I mean, come on, and there you go. I mean, dude, you're relatively public life within DOD. I mean, not no more. You know, and knowing the government, I can find
out about him. He's at the top of the food chain in that little part of the DOD. So
they probably pay a lot, man. They probably pay a lot.
Not anymore,
but not for him.
Yeah. Charged with that, there goes your security clearance. There goes all your access.
Oh yeah, all of it, all everything. Of it.
No conviction necessary. Just
not just the charge alone. It's enough for you to lose the kid and caboodle, man.
Yep.
It's man, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, deeply embarrassing.
Fuck.
Man.
Like you almost don't want to bond out on that one. Like, you
just stay there.
Just fucking leave me here, bro. Just fucking leave me here. I don't want to see nobody. Just leave me right here.
Yeah.
You gotta come out and you're wearing your fucking butterfly collar 70s shirt. You showed up to go pick up the hugger. You dress like a freaking clown. Like sun's up. You're like, oh my. Smell of aqua velva.
Oh my god.
Just like,
I tried to wear a disguise together.
You're like, oh god. Oh man, dude, that's terrible, man.
That sucks to be him, but I mean, it's not like he's the first.
Yeah, that's
government administrator. I mean, hell, elected officials have done this too.
I mean, shit. I mean, it happens all over the world. I mean, you know, it's people been doing that for a long time. But I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of like
before we could write about it.
Yeah, I mean, he should have brought a camcorder.
Oh, call it porn. Yeah.
You should have brought a camcorder.
I'm not picking up a prostitute. I'm making a pornography.
I'm making a video. What are you talking about? Now it's art.
Now it's legal. Now it's art. It's protected.
Now it's art. It's protected. You know what I mean? It's
Was it Family Guy?
Yeah.
Oh, you're making a video. As long as you're recording it and selling it, then it's fine. I'm still paying a woman for sex.
Yeah. I mean, you're paying her for the recording, you know, as a paid artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's a performer.
She's a performer, yeah.
Right, yeah.
I mean, if anything, it still looks better than here you are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Fucking. I wonder if they let them get. How naked did they let them get before they busted them?
I don't want to know. But yeah, how far did they get in the process?
How far? Because I've never been part of a sting like that. But,
no, me neither. I've heard about them plenty. But.
I mean, I've heard of them quite a bit, but I've never been part of that. So it's just kind of like, how far did they let them go? Like Steve Hansen, freaking Catch a Predator, dude sitting there naked on a stool. And I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. It's like, what do you mean nothing? I said, why are you naked? Oh yeah, and you're here to talk like that? You know? Yeah, man, dude, I'm telling you, that's brutal, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck. Like I feel bad, but I don't. Like I just, man, like I don't feel bad for them, but
it's his decision. He's the one that sought that out. He's the one that showed up. He's the one that got nabbed.
It's not feeling bad. It's just cringy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sucks. Sucks to be you, but I mean, you know.
It's like that scene from American Pie, you know what I mean? Door opens, you got you digging a pie, you know. You're like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man.
I see what you've been doing.
Like once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Right.
There's no real going back from that, you know. But, I mean, fuck, man.
Yeah.
So what else is going on, man?
All right, so more video has been released about the Rainbow Bridge crash or explosion up at the New York Canadian border. So when it first came out, everybody jumped on like this is a terrorist attack. It's a VBIED, which is vehicle-borne
Improvised
explosive device, which we've had experience with. I've had car bombs blow up pretty close to me, close to my guys, and pretty big explosions because you can pack a lot of explosives into a car. They can carry quite a bit of weight. But they're calling this a vehicle-borne IED attack, a terrorist attack, and a lot of people same thing, knee-jerk reactions to any kind of news that comes out like that. Oh, it must be terrorists because there was a car exploded at an international checkpoint in the United States. More information's come out. In my personal opinion, this has nothing to do with terrorism. So they identified the people that were in the car, and they were the only two people that died. It was a Kurt Villani and his wife Monica Villani, both 53 years old. They were the only casualties in this. Their vehicle did explode. Now, the explosion I can't really explain. It might be a fault with the vehicle, or they might have been carrying something that was more flammable or more explosive, but I don't think they had any intent to do a terrorist attack. What it looks like to me, probably on like the worst case spectrum, would be like a murder-suicide. Like whoever was driving was pissed and decided, screw it, I'm killing us both today. And because the video that I've seen on it is the vehicle going right past the checkpoint, hitting a guardrail, going airborne, coming down, and then blowing up. So who knows what they were carrying in their vehicle. I'm pretty sure more information will come out later about what happened exactly and what caused that fiery explosion that killed them both. But
they were carrying a bomb.
They could have been carrying oxygen tanks for like their dying aunt or something. You know?
Oh, that would have came out already because them tanks don't disintegrate like people think. There'll be pieces of that crap all over the place. But carrying a fucking bomb and
don't know
kablooey.
Don't know who these people were. There hasn't been much information about these two
Muslim extremists.
It's not clear.
Clearly,
that is not clear.
Hamas sympathizers, queers for Palestine.
Oh my God!
Smashed into a checkpoint.
That's what people are saying. There's been YouTubers that put that out when it first happened, and now they've put out retraction videos.
Of course, they've had to because there's no basis for any of that nonsense.
No, there's no information,
and that's what I'm trying to. That's what we've been trying to convey. So there ain't no better world event to convey the message that we've been trying to convey since the beginning of this podcast for you doing your own research and actually looking into stuff than this disaster in Gaza and in Palestine, in Israel. So there ain't no better example because both sides have lied terribly. I mean, both sides have fabricated their own narratives. Both sides, and it takes a lot of digging to cut through the nonsense. Yeah. Now,
a lot of times the truth is unattainable.
One side is easier to debunk than the other.
Right.
And that's been historically, Hamas is far easier to debunk than the other because they have legal documentation and desires that go right along with what they're doing. The other, maybe not so much. Right. They may desire to wipe all of Israel wipe all Palestinians away from Israel, but that's not clearly been evident or evidential other than this recent disaster here that they've been dealing with. Up until recently, it hasn't really been that evident.
Right.
But with Hamas, that's always been the case. With the Palestinians, that has always been the case. They have always wanted to be rid of Israelis and the Jews from the Jordan River to the sea. That's been the thing. And it's been like that since the beginning of the beginning. Amen. But both sides have lied. And both sides have put out false narratives through the last 30 years or more. What better example than that? Same thing with this thing. We got all this stuff going on. We got insecurity in the borders. We got it's a hot topic. I mean, the borders are not secure. People are pouring in. There's all these things that are happening, and then kaboom, something explodes.
Something happens.
So, although it could, we here at ateasecast don't believe in coincidences, but we sure respect them. And
they do happen.
And they do happen. They do happen. That's been things that are absolutely unexplainable that have happened. I mean, and you just go like, oh shit, that timing of that couldn't have been any weirder. But it's
just a coincidence.
It's just a coincidence. Yeah. Hence the existence of that word. So, so when it comes to that stuff in the Rainbow Bridge, knee-jerk reactions are what they are. Just kind of like look into it, because from what we've seen and what I haven't had as much time to dig into that topic as you have. Right. But from the little that I've been able to catch, there's definitely some lapses in the security apparatus, but it's not it doesn't seem to be a direct attack at that checkpoint. It's just not.
In my opinion, it was not an attack. So, but I'm not there. I'm not one of the investigators. I mean, I don't have my eyes on any evidence. I haven't researched these folks.
Right.
I don't have I get whatever anybody can get from.
So I mean, internet, but they fit certain narratives, and to those that are looking for confirmation bias, it's one of them round pegs. It's just like when people were talking about the Proud Boys and their that white supremacist freaking leader of theirs, and then turned out dude's black and Hispanic or whatever. Not a white supremacist. So it's just, I mean, maybe. Hispanic supremacist? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever you call.
I don't know what people's agenda is whenever they claim that about somebody. It's like, oh, they're white supremacist, and clearly that person is not white. So why would they advocate for the supremacy of another race?
I mean, it's Stranger Things.
That and most of the people in the United States, you wouldn't know this by the news, but most of the people in the United States get along with each other, no matter what their race is. Mm-hmm. Most people are pretty amenable.
Yeah, I mean...
But that's not what the news wants you to think, ever.
No, of course not, because they want to keep people divided between the red and the blue and everything in between. They want to keep you fighting with your neighbor, keep you arguing about this and arguing about that, and so they can continue to get away with what they're getting away with, which is what that segues into our next things, because while all this stuff is happening, while people are claiming freaking, oh, Palestine this, Palestine that, oh, Ukraine that. They're quietly told Zelensky over there in Ukraine, hey, bro, you may want to start suing for peace because...
Yeah, you ain't going to win.
You ain't going to win. And while that's happening, that's winding down, this other stuff in Gaza is happening. And people in the streets supporting insane causes...
Yeah,
and
I don't know how you can justify, supporting that.
And I've said it here before. I mean, you support that reign of terror. The bottom of my heart, you can go fuck yourself. I cannot condone that stuff. I've seen the videos, the raw, unedited Hamas freaking videos. Did you guys know that there were CBS reporters who were embedded with the assaulting elements of Hamas?
They never got released.
Right, because they got fired as soon as they were made. They were like, oh, these guys are with CBS and what? Oh, foreign correspondents.
BBC, CBS.
Because journalism is it's one of those professions that it could be murked out. kind of like we're doing a little bit of journalism right here, right now. None of us have formal education in the matter. But we know in the basis of it, we do research, try to be as truthful as possible, and just put out the information as unbiased as we can make it. Well, all over the world, there are these people that are good with a camera. And they have contacts and they network really well, and they have the gift of gab and all these other things. And when you put them all together, they end up in situations they can support their families with just those personality traits. They endear themselves. They speak the language. They're local. They know the area. So boom, they have something to sell, which is the scoop. Because you're not going to send John Smith from Arkansas into the middle of freaking some market in nowhere to make contact with Hamas to embed himself with them. Yeah. That's not going to happen. They're going to lop his head off. They've done in the past, see fucking Richard Pearl or whatever. It's happened. It's happened in the past. So they're going to hire these local nationals that can bring the scoop. So
I remember when they're
affiliated.
CNN camera guys, the CNN people that were there holding the cameras and videotaping everything we were doing. This is in Fallujah. All those guys, they were Iraqis wearing CNN stuff. They weren't anybody from the U.S. or from England or from anywhere else. They were locals.
Yeah, but in the meantime, all this stuff is happening, all this other stuff, and all these people are fighting in the red and the blue and the blah, blah, blah. And the government is slowly making us pay, and getting away with nonsense. So apparently there are still Somali refugee camps in El Paso.
Really? I didn't know that.
They were open back in 2011. I remember that. But Somalis in detention centers, but they weren't exclusively. But they got migrant camps set up. CBP's got migrant camps all over El Paso. They got they're housing about 2,500 immigrants a pop, and they're separating them by their races, basically. So, and it's not Mexicans.
Yeah.
So that's happening. Another thing is that they go like, oh well, Israel is using mass graves to dispose of the Palestinian bodies and all the cadavers. I'm like, yeah, well, you can't leave them in the hot sun,
right?
To get packed away by the carrion. This isn't a battle happening in 1200 freaking after Christ. That's not how this goes. You gotta bury him. So yeah, for health reasons and all kinds of reasons. But people forget that Andrew Cuomo had mass graves in an island in New York for COVID.
Not giving out medical advice.
Not giving out medical advice. Don't bury your friends in a plotter's.
Yeah.
Which is what he did with COVID victims. And a lot of family members that couldn't be bedside with their loved ones while they passed, and they weren't allowed to gather for a funeral or a viewing. They put their bodies in a plotter's field. Yeah. You know what I mean? This you don't have to venture very far, is what I'm getting at, to see some of the same atrocities committed all over the world. You don't have to go very far.
Right.
We've done a lot of this stuff to ourselves.
Yeah. Concentration camps for the Japanese Americans during World War II.
You don't have to go very far.
Or detainment camps. I don't remember
we had entire units, frontline combat units, that were just strictly out of the children of those Japanese and Asians interned, because they couldn't tell the difference, by the way. So they couldn't tell the difference between the Japanese, the Koreans, and the Chinese, and the Vietnamese. They didn't know who was who. Now, I had this thing with my old lady a little bit ago about that. I was like, well, they all got the same haircut, She's like, no, they don't, But I mean, so back then it was even worse. They had no exposure to this culture, so they had They couldn't identify their facial features or their names. They
Right.
couldn't really tell who was who. They put them all, bunched them all up. Well, the sons and daughters of these people, well, sons, ended up in operational maneuver units fighting in the war.
I mean, there's a couple experimental battalions.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the Hispanics is the same thing. I mean, so you don't have to go very far. And this stuff was happening until not too long ago. So some of the last segregated units operated as close as world in Korea.
Right.
So, so you want to talk about this other stuff and races and this and that and the third and inequality and all this other crap. I was like, you ain't got to go very far.
Sure.
But another thing you got to maintain is that these causes that people are advocating, for the most part, you got to look within yourself and see if you even fit in that society you're advocating for. Because you can be completely opposed to a genocide, but you can't. If you can't travel to that place in peacetime and coexist, you probably shouldn't be backing them up for anything.
Right.
Like, if they would kill you on sight just for being who you are.
But even saying that, and you're right, you shouldn't go anywhere near them. You shouldn't be advocating for their way of life.
You shouldn't be advocating for them at all.
But even that, the people that are advocating for that they would be smoked on sight by these same people.
Yeah.
They don't know that. They've never looked into these folks.
They have no idea.
They've never even tried.
They have no idea.
Research. All they do is they hear an idea through some kind of media source or something.
So I refuse
something.
Yeah, I refuse to.
And they just run with it.
I refuse to do reaction videos. This is not my thing. But I've seen quite a few of them, and I'll tell you guys to look for these on your own. They're hella fun. But there's a couple YouTubers out there that have actually gone out with petitions in public supporting Hamas, but you have to sign the disclaimer, and the disclaimer is all these horrific things that they would do to you in order to agree with this. And that's usually when people find out that they would kill me.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're queer for Palestine. Oh, yeah. What's happening over there is abhorrent and all this other stuff. I was like, yeah, I agree. Would you sign this petition? And I was like, of course. Well, first year, the terms of agreement that you're basically pleading, you're signing loyalty to this place. And I was like, to condemn all homosexuals wherever, and it's a long list of things that fit you, that this is what you do in your lifestyle, that you would completely unacceptable. But again, you don't have to go very far. In Cuba, they keep them in the sewers.
They keep who in the sewers?
The gays.
Really?
Yes, that's where they live, underground in the sewer systems. So
I didn't know that. That's bonkers.
Yeah. So again, you don't have to go very far for atrocity. That's what I'm getting at. Like this is, you don't have to go 3,000 miles on the other side of the planet to find despicable acts being done to people that they're undeserving of.
Right.
This stuff is like 90 miles away from our coasts. There are colonies of homosexuals and trans people living in the sewers, underground, because it's against the freaking the government to live above ground and be gay like that. Surely there's some tolerance because it's been going on for so long. This is not. It's not like they're going around with a scythe and just freaking, you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But
it's culling
exactly. That's not
homosexuals.
Exactly. That's not that. It's but it's still. Why can't trans and homosexuals and LGBT people live next door to everybody else?
Right.
There's nothing wrong with them. I mean, you may have your opinions. You don't have to partake in that. So just they can live their life next door. I don't give a shit. But you don't have to travel very far. Yeah. So and while all that's is happening, it's all designed to keep you divided, to keep you at each other's necks, to keep calling people racist or bigots, and keep making up buzzwords.
Right.
All the while doing shit to all of us. They're fucking all of us. All of us.
And they're finding new ways to do it every day.
Hit it.
So we're going to have two of them. This is two of the main ones we want to talk about today. The first one is the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission. So for the longest time since the history of the internet, and I remember growing up when the internet was new. We had dial-up internet when we could afford it. We had AOL CDs coming in the mail like daily. We had hundreds of them. They gave you like 140 free hours, 200 free hours, you know, crap like that. And the dial-up sound, the old...
Battle Troll still has an AOL email.
Does it?
Yes. Yes.
He does, doesn't he?
He does, bro. That's his email address from AOL, bro.
Yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. But yeah, AOL, if you don't know, is America Online. Yeah. And it was an internet service provider back in the day that is a joke nowadays because it gave so many free hours out all the time. People collected the CDs and did all sorts of stupid stuff with the CDs. Anyway, but yeah, the FCC has never had any control over what goes on the internet because the internet is created by the people who use it. So, I mean, that's the whole thing when it comes up with like freedom of speech and Elon Musk taking over Twitter specifically for that purpose to make it a free speech platform.
Right.
Donald Trump making his own thing. What was his called?
Truth Social.
Truth Social was for the same purpose to make a free speech platform, so that And the thing is, the FCC, from what I've seen on Twitter and on YouTube and on what was it, Rumble. Any platform you can post social stuff to or post your opinion to or make a video or make a blurb or whatever and post it to those sites. People don't need the FCC because they're censoring themselves. They censor themselves and everything. Cuss words are getting censored and a lot of words. Like any word that's like associated with a crime gets censored. They censor themselves. Nobody censors them. They censor themselves. YouTube has... policies, community policies or whatever, same thing as Facebook does, about things that you can and cannot say on their platform. And it includes a lot of things, and a lot of things you don't find out about until you've already done it. And it happened to us once. It hasn't happened since because we always put that disclaimer out there. We're not giving out medical advice. We're not lawyers. We're not doctors. We're none of those things. We're not giving out advice. We're just giving our own opinion. And that's the thing you got to do to have your video actually be viewed by people is you got to put out that disclaimer. And bleep your own stuff, like even the word COVID. I've seen people bleep that word COVID. I've seen people bleep the word gun, just the word gun. Yeah, bleeped it out.
Even sexual assault. The word
the R word for sexual assault.
Yeah, it rhymes with grapes.
Yeah, and although they say grape instead of the actual word. All that stuff. They bleep it or they change the word or something. So people are censoring themselves. Well, what the FCC has done historically is in television and movies, those will come in and say, hey, you can't say that on television. There's a whole list. I think George Carlin had a list of words. It was one of his comedy things that he did back in like the 80s or the 90s. And he went through the entire list of things you can't say on the radio because he used to be a radio DJ.
Yes, sir. So, George Carlin, bless his heart, man.
Yeah, he is a great comedian, a very, very successful comedian. But yeah, he had that stick that he did for his comedy show. He went through the entire list of things that you cannot say on the radio because the FCC will fine you.
The list alone was hilarious.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And some of those words have gone off the list and some more words have been added to the list. Right. So, I mean, it changes with the language. It changes with society. It changes. But the FCC is always in control of that. But the FCC has never had control of the internet until now. So if you don't know, now you know. The FCC adopts rules to prevent and eliminate digital discrimination. November 15th. So what is today? Today is the 24th. If anybody wants to know, we usually record and then we post. So November 15th, 2023. Federal Communications Commission has adopted final rules to prevent digital discrimination of access to broadband services based on income level, race, ethnicity, color, religion, or national origin under bipartisan infrastructure law. That sounds good, doesn't it? Infrastructure law. The FCC is required to adopt rules to ensure that all Americans have equal access to reliable, high-speed broadband services without discrimination based on the characteristics listed in the statute. I'm reading that from a PDF document that I got from docs.fcc.gov. So it's from their own website. If you want media contact, it's mediarelations@fcc.gov. That's who put this out. Now, that sounds good. Like, internet service providers can't prevent somebody to have access to the internet based on income level, race, ethnicity, color, religion, or national origin.
Which wasn't happening anyway.
It wasn't happening anyway. As long as you could pay for the service, you had the service.
Yeah, that wasn't happening.
So,
even if you couldn't pay for the service, you can get the Obama phone.
You go to Obama phone. You go to the public library.
The public library.
You can get access to the internet.
Yeah, so that wasn't happening anyway.
Most phones, even if they don't have like service, you can connect to Wi-Fi and you've got access.
It's the redundancy of freaking of this administration is just freaking brutal, bro.
And that's the thing. So the FCC is now, and this is going to be right now. It's on those premises. Racism and like exclusion can't prevent you from accessing the internet, which it hasn't. So, anybody can get on the internet. I mean, look at Twitter. Everybody's on the damn internet. So
they're going to force dependency. They're going to force dependency.
They're going to force dependency. They're going to start making rules of what internet service providers can and cannot allow to come through their pipes. Mm-hmm. And now the FCC is going to be discriminating against people based on political leanings.
Of course.
Which they have tried to do before. They have tried to do it with colluding with like Facebook. And that all that information has come out now. Colluding with Twitter. All that information came out when Elon Musk took over the company and got those files. A lot of people have broken this news.
Well, they've done it to our content, to our videos. Our videos has been specifically buried in the algorithms. That's why I'm telling you, I implore you guys, if you guys want to hear more content like this, like and subscribe and give us. It really helps with the algorithms because they bury our content.
Yeah. The more you interact with our videos, either the shorts or the long forms, the more it helps us. So like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment. Mm-hmm. Yeah, have a conversation with us. We do look at our comments. We do reply to them.
So what happened to us is when we did that video, we spoke about COVID-19 for a little bit. We weren't giving any medical advice, and we didn't speak about anything that wasn't already out there. It's publicly known information. It's common knowledge. It's out there for everybody to see and everybody to read. We just like, hey, we saw this and we talked about it. They took our video down immediately. Right next to our video was another video of a fairly popular comedian that literally said just about same things that we said. And his video is up and running, unfiltered, no problems. But guess what that guy's political leaning is? Yeah. You know, he's a registered Democrat. So I mean, I don't want to get too deep into that, but that's just what it is.
Right.
Big media, you know, all it's being ran by the left for the most part, and they're gonna exercise. It's more weaponization of the federal
agencies,
government, federal agencies,
it's weaponizing the agencies.
Weaponizing. They're gonna try to dominate what you can say, what you can do. It's more control. And
the thing is, with this FCC thing, I haven't seen anybody really talk about it.
Of course not, because they dominate.
On YouTube. None of it. I haven't seen this anywhere.
I don't know why. YouTubers should be concerned about this.
Absolutely, because it directly affects every YouTuber. Not just YouTube is going to be able to tell you what you can and cannot put on your content. Now the FCC is going to fine you and possibly arrest you. If you get a charge from the FCC, that's federal prison.
I mean, we just threw a guy, the federal government just threw a guy in jail for memes. So,
right.
I mean, and then...
Which was happening in other parts of the world. I never thought it could happen in the United States because of the freedom of speech.
Yeah, no, it's not free no more.
Nope.
It's not free no more. Even questioning what we're questioning right now puts us at risk. Mm-hmm. It's just...
but this is the thing. Like, this is going to affect... like everybody, and this ties into the next topic. But so on its face, it's saying you can't discriminate when people want access to the internet. This never happened.
So this is a clear attack to the dissenting voices of the conservative, the conservative people who actually outnumber the left, the liberal movement. But
it's growing and growing.
And it's growing and
Every
growing.
time the government makes an overstep like this, it continues to grow.
There's thousands of YouTubers out there that talk about Second Amendment advocacy, First Amendment advocacy. Mm-hmm. They're all out there. There was a lot of us that served in the military, that fought in these weird wars. A lot of us that lost friends. A lot of us that lost parts of ourselves. Putting our lives for our friends and our government and whatever, and campaigns overseas in far-flung places. Some had done a lot, some had not done as much as others, but they all did something. All these guys are getting out of the military and they're starting things with technology, and they're speaking out and they're saying things. And now the FCC is making the federal government is making a bold move to put a lid on this kind of stuff, because this is how grassroots movement starts. We talked about this on episodes 1 through freaking 5 or so.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
Grassroots movements.
A little bit throughout a lot of episodes.
It's how it starts, just like dissenting opinions, and they're contagious.
There was a dissenting opinion to this too, because this is an FCC vote. Mm-hmm. They've already been given the authority to do it with the I forget what act it was. It was like the Save America Act or something like that.
Yeah,
and it had a lot to do with the economy. So
yeah, that was that. How many? It was like almost 300-page omnibus.
Yeah,
bill.
I think it was like 280 pages, something like that. And it was an omnibus bill.
Yeah,
had a lot of stuff in it, and this was one of the things that was in it.
So these are part of the things that they're arguing in Congress right now.
FCC sweeping authority to regulate everything on the internet.
Yeah,
because this is just one document that I have pulled up. There was a dissenting document that I found as well, but I didn't think it really put the point forward of what the FCC is about to be capable of doing. So there are people that are already dissenting this, and these people are in the government. They are Congress people. They are people that work for the FCC, and they don't agree with this. They don't think the FCC should have this kind of power.
No, you got presidential candidates right now that are looking to get nominated. They clearly advocate for this kind of stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Like Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley put out as one of her canons that immediately upon taking office, the very first thing would be verification of all internet users by given name.
No.
Yeah, look it up.
Oh, I believe you.
Look it up. She said in public. I'd say there are better ways to torpedo your campaign than that.
Right.
That was like, I don't know, that was like being 60 and trying to jump over your own foot. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna fall on your face, stupid. Like, wow. That's what she did. She basically destroyed her campaign in one fell swoop. Yeah. Vivek Ramaswamy had a freaking riot with that one. Because our founding documents were founded under secrecy and anonymity.
Yes.
Our country was founded under anonymity. The protection of your identity in a public forum, in a public space, is of the utmost importance when carrying out dissenting opinions. It's why we operate with call signs. Yeah. Come on. This lady's advocating for. Because she got trolled online is what it is. So somebody...
she wants to know their name.
Yeah, she got trolled. She got trolled. So legit, she got trolled online is what it was. It was pretty... Don't get me wrong, it's pretty brash. What they said about her, what they said to her, it was kind of messed up, But, you put the computer to sleep. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. We got plenty of stupid comments from some of our viewers out there that say some of the dumbest stuff I've read in a really long time.
The shorts are taken out of context. This is a long form video.
It's I read it just the same. I don't pay attention to it. I just like, okay, well, that's clearly not somebody to be paying attention to.
Yeah.
I was like, you put a comment that's a constructive critique and something that's worthwhile. Yeah, I'll read it. And I was like, yeah, shit, and that person may have a point.
Or ask a question or bring up some information that we don't have, that we didn't bring up.
Or a correction. I was like, that person has a valid point. But, we get dumb stuff, all the time. So it's kind of, you just can't pay attention to that heat, man, because it'll consume you, bro. It'll consume you. But
with this, the FCC is probably going to implement some kind of controls on internet service providers, and who knows how far they're going to make this reach.
Wow.
No, it's all up in the air right now, but probably early next year. I'll say early next year they're going to start implementing some of this stuff.
So right in line with the other thing that's happening next year.
So the IRS...
Yeah.
Everybody loves that.
Keep fighting amongst each other.
This is even more recently. So the other one was November 15th. This is November 21st. So if any of y'all out there have side hustles, little businesses, like you make T-shirts or you make hats or scarves or cups, those tumbler cups like this with like random stuff on them or like personalized stuff on them, and you have a website that you sell it through, and like Etsy or eBay or stuff like that.
Lemonade stand.
A lemonade stand.
Yeah.
And if you take payments through Venmo or PayPal, what's the other one?
PayPal, Venmo, Cash App.
Cash App, that's the one I was trying to think of. So you take payments through third-party payment services like that.
OnlyFans, yeah.
Guess what? The government's wanting their cut. So it used to be if you made over $20,000 a year through those means, you would have to file Form 1099-K.
Right.
K as in kilo, to report those funds as income and give the government their cut. There's a $20,000 cap. Like if you go over $20,000, you gotta claim them. Mm-hmm. No more. So starting next year, it's gonna be. Where did it go? Yeah, starting next year, probably January, February. I think. Yep, January next year. The cap is going down to $5,000. $5,000. If you make over $5,000 through your side hustles, through your little arts projects, through selling anything, and receiving any money through electronic means, through Venmo, through Cash App, through PayPal, through stuff like that, you're going to have to declare that money to the government and give the government their cut. And after 2020, because it says $5,000, the IRS is planning a threshold of $5,000 for tax year 2024. After that, it goes down to $600. $600 threshold for payment apps and online marketplaces to report payments on Form 1099-K was delayed for tax year 2023. They're going to implement that $600 cap after tax year 2024. The government wants their cut at anything you make through side hustles, anything you make online through online sales. The cap's going to go down to $600.
So,
yay!
The government is doing everything they possibly can to ensure
to push down your wage earning ability.
That you stay where you belong.
Mm-hmm. So like I'm an absolute believer in multiple sources of income.
Right.
Like you need to have multiple, because I mean, if I have one source of income as a primary source of income, like my day job, so people refer to it as my day job falls out from under me for whatever reason, through injury, through me being stupid, through the place that I work for going under, whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah. If my main source of income goes out, what do I got? I've got a couple of days to figure out how to be homeless. That's what I've got. But if I have multiple sources of income, I can keep myself afloat through those other sources of income until I find something else to replace my primary income. So I mean, you need multiple sources.
We've all survived on our side hustles before.
Yeah.
You and I both survived on our side hustles at one point or the other. Whether it be freaking stock trading or freaking or other gigs or whatever, and we
also don't give financial advice.
Yeah, we're not giving financial advice. So.
Disclaimers.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, because the FCC's coming, man. We want to make sure that we're in tight with them, bro. It's. I mean, come on.
So you need multiple sources of income.
Well, I mean,
even today with the economy going the way it's going, the price of everything is going up.
Well, there's a lot of things happening. Well, there's a lot of things happening, man. It's just like, I've been blessed with the ability to be the sole breadwinner and and have my spouse freaking be able to pay full attention to the children and all that, and keep the home. And she loves that's what she's good. She's really good at that. She's good at other things, but she's really good at that. Another thing is that it ensures that our kids won't go wayward. Right. In any kind of way. Now, I grew up in a two-parent household that both parents had to work. Right. They had to work long hours. I spent a lot of time alone. There was a lot of time alone. So I'm not gonna say I got into a lot of shenanigans. I was fairly lazy as a kid, anyways. So, but there were times where just kind of like veered off and got into things they probably shouldn't have gone into. It's just kind of, I mean, nothing major, but it's just, I mean, there's a lot like me. There's probably a lot more that are a lot more enterprising than I ever was. Mm-hmm. So they're making sure that our kids are growing by themselves. That the schools are the ones that are raising them. Yeah. Make sure they're guaranteeing.
Because the public schools itineraries and lessons plans are created in DC.
So they're guaranteeing. They're trying to guarantee that you can't homeschool your kid. They're trying to
afford to.
You won't be able to afford to because they're taking all of your side hustles away. And I mean, Americans normally are already uptight to a certain extent. I mean, I've heard different numbers, like anywhere from being $400 emergency away from disaster to, I don't know, $1,500 emergency away from being in a disaster.
Yeah. The number is irrelevant, but
the number is irrelevant. But you're basically one large expenditure away from being in a tight spot. Right. And I buy stuff off of Etsy. I buy stuff off of some of these. There's local vendors.
Right. There are people around here that make stuff.
There's people here. I bought some posters.
Kydex holsters.
Well, I bought some posters off of
little bits of art. Yeah,
little bits of arts off of local manufacturers. People here that have a niche and sell some good stuff.
The tumbler cups, stuff like this that somebody does artistically. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's insane.
Plenty people that get into that.
I mean, hell, my mom sells soaps and little essential oils and stuff like that. I mean,
it's just a supplement income.
That lady, I bought the essential oils and scrubs for my wife. That gift I made for my wife. You were there with me when I bought it.
I remember that.
That lady, her business card, she has a shop on Etsy. So, and I passed that on to my wife, and she went on and continued to give her business. But now her business is under attack.
Mm-hmm. She's going to have to get a pretty serious cut to the government.
So
because it used to be $20,000 and $20,000.
Because this is a hobby. This is a hobby.
Yeah, it's a hobby. What we're doing right now is our hobby.
It's a hobby. So a lot of these things affect those people who are on fixed incomes. Yep. So if you're on Social Security, you can't work, right? Because you're on Social Security, you're sitting at the house, but you do have a skill. Like, you're like, okay, well, I'm good with plastics, or I'm good with art, or I'm good with whatever. You made a couple bucks here and there, it gives you a little walk around money, nothing major. I mean, it's not like you're buying a Mercedes off of it, but now that those 6 tumblers that you freaking sold or whatever, now they're being taxed. They're gonna be taxed. The problem is that there is no representation for taxation that we could see. There's nothing tangible.
Well, nobody's doing anything about it, because I haven't heard anything about this IRS stuff either.
Well, number one, very few people are talking about it. Number two, the money's going to other countries.
Yeah. A $6 billion missed payment to Ukraine for a war.
The money's going to other countries. Like, we're not
$50 billion out to Ukraine and Israel for
their
wars.
We're not reinvesting it into ourselves, anyways.
Yeah.
So it's taxable income. They're taxing you, and you don't see it.
Yeah, you get no benefits out of it.
You get no benefits out of it. So
that's the thing about return on investment. Like what you were just saying earlier. Like we've done stocks. We've done ROI reads and doing ROI investigations and research and stuff like that into stocks and other things we put our money into for investments.
Right.
What's a return on investment? We're paying taxes. What is the government actually providing? A military.
Yeah.
Most of it goes to military expenditure. But I mean, infrastructure, most of that's paid by the state.
Right.
And Texas doesn't have an income tax. Texas makes its own money through whatever other means, but they don't tax their people. The United States used to not tax their people. The U.S. income tax, if you want to look it up, is only about 110 years old at this point.
Right.
Started in like 1913. I remember talking about that on the very first episode.
Yep, wars.
So it was a meeting off the coast of North Carolina, something like that. So yeah, they never used to tax their people, not the regular people for income. They would tax companies and corporations to be able to do business in the United States. Correct. But the people that worked for them didn't get taxed. They kept all of their income because they would go out and buy goods and buy services and put that money back into the economy. Mm-hmm. But then the government saw a way to enriched themselves, and they took
Yeah,
it.
and it's like I said, like I said in the top of the hour here. I remember when they would steal and still leave you something behind that you could be proud of.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't really mind when they stole. Now they're just flat out, outright, just taking from you and running with it and building a governmental dependency that'll stifle. It'll stifle the possibility of rising up and opposing it directly.
We're not advocating for...
And we're not advocating for any nonsense because it's a fucking crime.
Well, that
So, but it's just a power move. So we're talking historical here.
It also prevents people from becoming wealthy enough to run for office, because we found out pretty quickly it takes billions of dollars to run for any kind of national office.
Yeah, it takes
in the millions and billions. Presidency probably takes like $1 to $2 billion.
I mean,
any congressional office, senator or representative, takes probably about $50 million to be able to.
It takes a lot.
Yeah,
but
it takes a lot of money to be able to do it. But I mean, now you're not going to be. No individual is going to be able to like make their own business or make their own set of businesses and accumulate that much money to be able to convince people around them to, hey, I should represent you in your government, and then make a campaign off that. You're not going to be able to have enough money, period, unless you're tied to one of the other political parties and get the political parties to pay for your campaign.
So this
which is what happens mostly nowadays.
But I mean, this is typical when it comes to the government. When it comes to just screwing people over, it's just going from bad to worse. But this is all happening while people are out there fighting for nonsense,
Right.
and paying attention to gobbledygook bullshit.
Right.
They, instead of picking up the flag of a country that doesn't exist, and advocating for the rights of people that want to kill you, and condemning people that you don't even know, have never met, bury the hatchet already and start getting together and get with the program, because they're screwing you.
Yeah.
They're screwing you. They're screwing all those people on the left, again screwed. They're screwing all those people on the right, again screwed.
Yeah.
Both sides, again screwed. People in the middle, again screwed. Everybody getting screwed. This is not. This is definitely one of the most bipartisan issues that we have. Period.
Let's say we've talked about a lot of things
as a nation getting screwed. It's
That's
time
completely
to
cross party lines. Everybody should be concerned about this.
It's time to. There's one thing that we can all agree on. Left, right, center, queer, whatever you are, we all agree that we love our families.
Yeah.
For the most part. There are some shitty families out there, but for the most part, we all love our families. If we have kids, we all love our kids. We don't want anything bad to happen to any of them. Some people are so passionate about it, they don't want anything bad to happen to the kids of bad people. So,
Right.
It's time that we come together, because this is going to affect those little ones that are coming up. This is where they're going to be. This is going to be their starting point. It's going to be a world that's so dependent on governmental assistance and governmental help that you won't be able to exist free.
Right. And I want to put this out there before somebody gets the wrong idea in their head about us. And I'm sure you're of the same opinion. We are not anti-government.
Nah, hell no.
I am not anti-government. Governments are necessary and inevitable. No matter what situation you're in, you are going to have a government of some form.
Yeah.
What I am anti is the bullshit in government. Absolute overstepping.
Well, it's oppression.
This is financial oppression.
It's oppressive and unnecessary.
It shouldn't happen. So you got the combination of the FCC taking over the internet and controlling what's going on the internet, and the IRS taking away people's ability to make supplemental income. You're oppressing the people to make sure that they do whatever the hell you want. I don't know what the end goal of this. I don't know what's the end game.
Control.
Sure.
Absolute control. Absolute control.
To what end? To what purpose?
To what end? Take your guns.
We can speculate.
To take your guns.
I can speculate on this.
To take your guns. To take your guns.
It could be. It could very well be.
To take your guns.
Yeah.
That's what it is. To take your guns. Because as long as you got guns and ammo, there's still that chance.
You have a way to resist.
There's still that chance. To take your guns. That's what it all. That's the aim of it all. And they're turning our frogs gay. God bless Alex Jones.
You talk about the game. I'm not talking about that game.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Alex Jones, what a maniac, bro. And he's right, though. I mean...
Frogs going gay?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Fuck you. I thought frogs were asexual for a period in time. I don't know. But, I mean, whatever.
They're not asexual. But
well, you know what I mean. Like, transsexual, whatever.
There's only a couple of species of frogs that can actually switch their sex while they're alive. So
I don't give a fuck. Anyway,
I got you.
So,
it's on Jurassic Park. That's how it happened.
So, yeah.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, with the Kentucky Fried Chicken dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
the Scottish Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, the Scottish Colonel Sanders. Yeah, but that's the goal. The goal is the guns. The goal is the guns. The goal is the guns.
Maybe,
because once they take the guns, it's done. It's over.
It's true.
Once they take the guns, it's done, and they're gonna be able to take the guns. You know why? Because you'll be completely so dependent of the government that you'll have no choice. You'll have no choice. So, I mean, of course, I'm speculating because
speculation. We don't have facts right now.
We don't have any facts on that. So I'm gonna go with guns. I choose guns.
On that same
we should do squares on this. Like actually, like
a bingo. Like,
bro, come on.
That like okay.
Guns, because I choose guns. I think it's guns.
I don't know.
Like I'll put money on it.
I have no. That's a valid thought, yeah, absolutely. But
I mean, yeah, it's a stretch, but I mean,
not really.
I mean, not really, but it's still a stretch.
The Democrat Party has been trying like hell for like 50 years or more to eliminate arms ownership by the people.
Well, this is the way.
It's a way.
It's a way.
Yeah.
That's why they tried to pass it. I'm telling you, it's just crazy. These people are freaking slime balls, man. The other day, what these assholes did the other day, they tried to pass a legislation to commemorate the sacrifices of law enforcement officers that died in the line of duty and all this other stuff. And then during that commemoration of law enforcement and all this stuff, they roped in all the sacrifices made by D.C. Metro Police during the January 6th so-called insurrection.
Because they wanted it recognized.
Because they wanted it.
As an insurrection,
they wanted. So it's a semantics game. So,
but it's legal recognition.
But it's legal recognition that January 6th would have been an attack.
Yeah, an attack on the United States. Because if they can tie Trump to January 6th as an attack on the United States, they can prevent Trump from being on any ballot in the United States because of the Insurrection Act.
Yeah, because of the Insurrection Act. You know, if it's classified like that as an attack, then they can definitely charge him with it and take him off the ballot for good. He can't run.
Right.
That's how slimy they are. Yeah. They went far into the left field and try to snake it in. Try to snake something in to change the wording on something, a couple freaking syllables here and there, just to make it look. And then when the Republicans saw this move, they of course opposed it, and now they're you're against law enforcement and all this other stuff. And that's that Adam Schiff and freaking that idiot that thinks that islands capsize and fucking that fucking useless bag of donkey shit is still in freaking Congress, freaking out there talking like this. So, Mr. Anderson,
the syphilis guy.
The syphilitic moron. Yeah. He's out there with his freaking stupid face, freaking talking retarded, and I mean, it's crazy, it's slimy, and it's underhanded. But
if I didn't say before, though, what I want to say now is everything that I have said about the FCC and the IRS. Those are the two biggest things I wanted to push out there. But everything that I have said, everything that I've read on this channel about these two things was taken from FCC.gov, IRS.gov.
Yeah, so eat a dick, YouTube. We're not making it up.
These are from those agencies' website.
We'll link the source. We'll link the source. We'll link the source at the bottom at the bottom of the description of the video.
Everything I have said was read from their websites or from the documents that they have that are available on their websites.
Yeah, this is bonkers, man.
We speculate on the means and the whys of this garbage, but every bit of information that I have is from the original source. So.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is just a steaming pile of dog shit, man. And you're just sitting there, you're forced to look at it. You're like, this is insane.
Right.
I was like, could you guys cut it out? It's like
it's getting worse and worse, man. It keeps getting more and more over.
So the thing is that the only clear winner out of all this nonsense is nobody that lives in America.
Right.
So,
because every American citizen, by virtue of being an American citizen, is about to have to pay out the ass and have everything they do on the internet.
So even the people that are passing these legislations, even they suffer. Mm-hmm. Everybody suffers. So the thing is that this all leads to I don't know if it's a forced change of hegemony. Like we've talked, like it's just a purposeful tanking.
We can speculate.
I mean, there's so many things, but I don't see any beneficiary within the continental United States out of all this nonsense. Right. This is the only nations or people that could benefit from it are adversaries for the most part, and those adversaries are for the most part they're about 30% made up into adversaries.
Here's the thing about that. Here's the thing about that. Our adversaries, specifically who you're talking about, is China and Russia.
Right.
China and Russia have already done this.
Right. Yeah.
They've already put in regulations about the internet. They have already put in regulations about how much money you can earn and where you can earn it from.
Well, that's where we get what we think and what we what we see. We see the TikTok that China wants us to see.
Yeah. Yeah, the algorithm is specifically made for the United States.
And
the
that's
one
already
in China is completely different.
And that's public information.
Yeah.
That's already out there. Well, it should be. No, it's already out there.
No, I mean, it should be public knowledge at this point.
No, it should be public knowledge, but it very much, a lot of people still sign up for TikTok and still have TikTok accounts, even though all of their personal information is being passed on to the Chinese Communist Party. You're giving access of all devices that are linked to that account, that are linked to that device that is linked to that account, to the Chinese Communist Party. Now, you may be sitting in your house going like, well, I don't have nothing to hide. I'm not doing anything. I'm just a lonely civil servant or a lonely freaking factory worker or whatever. What the hell do I care?
It's not about you. It's about us.
No, it's not about you. It's about all of us. Because
it's called metadata.
Yeah, it's just pure insanity how they're manipulating people, and they got us fighting with each other over dumb stuff. None of it matters. None of it matters. None of it matters. It's irrelevant. It's pointless. Fighting over skin color. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Fighting over
the most pointless thing to fight about.
Fighting over
what color skin you were born with.
Whose life matters.
Yeah.
And all, it's pointless. It doesn't matter.
If you really want to know whose life matters, ask the government whose life matters. They'll tell you Black Lives Matter. Their truth is no lives matter.
Yeah, it's just...
That's the government. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. They don't care. They care less than we do. But it's important for them to keep us busy.
Right.
To keep us occupied
to keep
over
us
here.
Looking at what they're doing.
Keep us over here because we make the noise so loud that we can't hear them whisper. Right. It's
and it's been shown and proven.
And it's been time and time again. It's the same thing.
Look at this major world-changing headline.
So
at the same time, Congress just passed this, and this.
So
all the time.
In the Roman times, during times of relative peace, which was but let's say not protracted campaigns where most of the male population was out fighting some campaign. People had time to concentrate on the issues that really affected Rome. Before all that nonsense got too crazy and came to a head, they had the games.
Gladiator sports.
5
days of games.
They invented the Olympics. Why do you think that exists?
The Greeks did.
Yeah. But it's all a ploy to keep you busy. Keep you busy, keep you doing other things, keep your mind occupied in other things, because we need you over here thinking about this other stuff.
There have been whole books and
this is what these policies are creating. When they start taxing you at the $600 range for your side hustles. It's going to force you to put your nose on the grindstone on other things and not paying attention to all this other stuff they're going to sneak past you. It's all a ploy to control you. It's insane. And I don't know, nobody
FCC
really benefits from
that.
it.
They're going to be able to control what you're able to see.
Yeah.
What information you're able to access.
So I implore you guys that are watching the podcast, that I hate sounding like this because it drives me crazy. It almost makes me feel like I need to be wearing a tinfoil hat or something.
Right.
And these are things that freaking 10, 15 years ago, I would have heard somebody talking the way I'm talking. I would have been like, whoa, that dude is freaking bonkers.
Right.
But the thing is, this is happening. This is not stuff that I'm making up. It's happening real time to us.
And the things we've brought up, they're from the agency's websites. You can't sit there and be like, oh, that's not really happening.
So
it's
please,
plain on their stuff.
So please, educate yourself while you still can.
Yeah.
Read freaking Orwell's 1984. Go take a look at some of these other publications that are out there that talk about this kind of stuff.
What was it?
George Orwell's
Aldous Huxley. What was his name?
Albert.
It's Aldous. No. What was that book he wrote? It was the other one, the other dystopian future. But it's Aldous Huxley.
Aldous Huxley. Find it real quick. So.
Aldous Huxley, Brave New World.
Brave New World. That's right. Yeah.
So the whole premise about 1984 is like everything that you hate is going to take over your life, like government interaction or government oversight, government observation, because they had cameras like in their rooms.
Right.
So I mean, the speech agency or whatever it was called. Was it
the ministry,
the police, the administration of truth,
the Ministry of Truth, which we already had.
Yeah, we had it.
They floated that. That actually went. We had a Department of Misinformation. This stuff. I can't make this up, guys. Yeah. It's happening.
But that was 1984's thing. All the government overreach and stuff like that. Government completely controlling every aspect and facet of your life. Everything you think, everything you see, everything you say, all that stuff. That was 1984. Aldous Huxley, Brave New World, was kind of a different take on it. And it was everything you love is going to control your life. Addiction, drugs, sex.
Yeah, it's already happening. This is happening.
Stuff like that. I think both are happening.
Yeah, both simultaneously.
I think both are coming true.
Yeah, so, I mean, educate yourself while you still can, but don't forget, give us a like and subscribe. Check us out on the shorts and everything, and that's pretty much all we got for this week. And, don't forget, pay attention, do your own study, pay attention to this kind of stuff.
Be nice
happening.
to each other.
Be nice to each other. Don't let this apparatus freaking keep you guys separate. Freaking by.
Hesco said, do your own research. Look into this.
Do your own research. Don't let the government classify you like that. Yeah. Love each other. Freaking pay attention to what's going on, and most importantly, if you want to continue to see our content, we're on all major socials. We're on Spotify, Amazon Music.
We are ateasecast.
ateasecast on all of them. So I got my RSS feed for those guys and gals that like to just listen to the podcast, and it's just the audio only, audio format of this, all on RSS and Spotify. We're on Rumble. You name it. Yeah. We got our Patreon up and everything, and we're trying to move it in the right direction.
Anything we do with the show, we'll be sure to put it out.
But we're definitely to the point where we're gonna need some likes and subscribes, and we're gonna need that stuff going so we can get pushed to start moving to the top of the algorithms, because they're censoring the hell out of us. But we're not saying anything too crazy. It's already out there. So y'all take care. Have a nice weekend and be safe.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Yeah.